Hi, this is Katie Wethman with the Wethman Group at Keller Williams, and we put together this quick video to let our clients and perhaps future clients know about searching online. We got a great question from one of the attendees from a recent first-time homebuyer class that we teach, who asked after the class, where should I be searching online? There's so many websites, which ones are the best ones to use? And that's a great question because not all sites are created equally. The source of all data is what's called the Multiple Listing Service. We abbreviate it MLS. And there's a company in our area where all the brokers like Keller Williams and Weichert and Remax and Long & Foster, we all pay to belong to this service, and that's where we all put our listings in. Now, to get the listings back out, we need to pay for that data feed. And any big reputable broker is, of course, going to pay for that feed. We need that as part of our business. However, there are some sites out there that don't pay for that feed. So instead, they try to cobble together the listings from various free sources. And they usually end up doing a fairly good job, but they're not 100% accurate. So sites that I'm talking about are sites like Zillow and like Trulia. And then Craigslist is by far the worst. Craigslist actually relies on each individual agent to manually enter their listing. So you really just get such a small number of the listings. It's really just not accurate data at all. Zillow and sites like Trulia are marginally better. I'm going to share with you here a study that Inman News published. Redfin commissioned a study to obviously it was in their own best interest, but it also represented all the other brokers who pay for that data feed, showing that Zillow and Trulia were very inaccurate. And there are a couple of statistics here. I'm going to scroll down to the article. They looked at the percentage of agent-listed properties that were active in Trulia or Zillow or whatever site they were looking at that were actually no longer for sale. They had been updated, and we'll use Long & Foster here as representative of all of our brokers' sites in our area. So whether it's longandfoster.com, Weichert.com, Remax.com, Redfin.com, it's going to be extremely similar. So which ones were no longer for sale, but instead were showing up as active? And you can see there were 0 such properties for Long & Foster. In other words, it was 100% accurate in terms of the properties that were listed as active. Trulia and Zillow, on the other hand, had 36 and 37% respectively of their properties marked as active that had already been sold. So if you were doing your primary initial searching on Trulia or Zillow, there is a 36 to 37% chance that whatever listing you're looking at is actually no longer for sale. And I have a quick example here. If we look at our multiple listing service, and this will not look familiar to you because this is the engine where only agents and brokers can log in, but we can see, for example, that there was a listing at 2122 19th Street North in Arlington, this cute little single family home that went under contract. Excuse me, it's going to close in the middle of February. It is currently contract status. If I just scroll down to the bottom here, we can check out the dates. It was listed on January 14th. It was on the market only 5 days, and then it went under contract. And the data was updated by the agent on January 19th of 2013. Now let's flip over to Trulia, and we can see today is February 6th, so we are several weeks later, and here we are 2122 19th Street North, still showing up as for sale on Trulia. So if you were just seeing it for the first time on Trulia, you would think that it's a cute little house, but in fact someone bought it almost 3 weeks ago, so you've missed the boat. And there are other examples of that as well. It's very common for people to email us about listings they see on Trulia and Zillow, and unfortunately they were sold weeks before. So let's get back to our study. That's properties that sold that are still showing up as active. What about the flip side? Things that are showing up as active in the multiple listing services, so they truly are available. Are they also showing up on Zillow or Trulia? And the answer is not always. So you can see that the broker sites here, longandfoster.com, windermere.com, and redfin.com, have 100% of the active MLS listed homes. So that's really where you want to be looking. Whereas Trulia and Zillow have 81 and 79%. So that means you're only seeing 4 out of 5 homes that are actually listing for sale. So that 5th one may be the one that you're looking for, and it's just not ever going to show up on Trulia or Zillow because they're not paying for that data feed. And then finally, there is a lag time that accounts for some of these differences. So they track the median number of days between when it showed up in the multiple listing service versus when it appeared on the external site. And for the brokers who are paying for the feed, of course, they pay a lot of money. They're going to make sure they update it very frequently. There is 0 days lag time. So you will see it same day. Might be a few hours later, might be a few minutes later, but it's going to be the same day. Whereas Trulia and Zillow have between a 7 and 9 day median lag time for listings. And with today's market and in the spring, things are starting to sell very quickly. That 19th Street house we just looked at went under contract in 5 days. So if it's not even showing up on Zillow and Trulia until days 7 and 9, you have totally missed the boat. You will never have an opportunity to see that house. And in fact, you probably didn't even know it's for sale. So the moral of the story is that you should not be relying on Zillow or Trulia or Craigslist for your searching, but any other site is pretty much fine as long as it's a broker. A lot of people like redfin.com, that's fine. We have a tool on our site. If you go to search.wethmangroup.com, it'll take you right to our search, and this ties directly into the multiple listing service, and you can enter your criteria. Or one of the reasons I like our site is that if you know you're going to focus on an area, say let's just say you want to be out by East Falls Church, you can click and drag on this map until you are in the East Falls Church area, and then enter your criteria. Let's just say you want to be between 300,000 and 700,000. Or let's say 750, and you know that you're open to condos and townhouses and single-family homes. Then the map will populate. It will show you that there are 13 matches, and you can hover over the little house and click for more details to see what might come up. Let's just say you're wondering, well, what can I get if I go a little further out? Well, you can just click the little zoom out and you'll see all the houses. So it gives you a really good sense for if you're looking close to a metro stop, for example, or you want to see how close can I get to my office and still be within my price range or something like that. Similarly, if you change your mind and you're thinking, well, there's nothing I really like in Arlington, what about if I move south to Alexandria? You can just move the map over and it will automatically repopulate with your same criteria. So it's a great way to explore. We don't charge for the use of our site. You just need to set up a free account, and then you can save searches. You can set it up to give you daily emails of new listings and price changes, and you can set up as many searches as you want. So if you're keeping an eye on both the East Falls Church metro area as well as the Boston area and also the area around King Street Metro, you can set up all of those searches and it will just email you every day. And you can update that criteria as needed. The last point I want to make is in our multiple listing service, which you as the public do not have access to, but we as agents have access to. And I want to let you know that this service is available to you in the event that you are looking for something extremely specific and you don't want to have to wade through dozens and dozens of listings to find it. And I'll give you an example. Sometimes clients, if they have children, they're looking for a specific floor plan and they know that they will not consider any house that doesn't have at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths all on the upper floor, and let's say they absolutely have to have a basement. So that is their criteria. They don't want to see or look at any house that doesn't meet that criteria. You need to let us know that as your agent, because what we can do is set up a search for you that will email you every day, but it will be that specific criteria. And that's a great thing, because a lot of the public facing sites, you just can't get that specific. It will let you enter price range and perhaps neighborhood, how many bedrooms, but it doesn't let you get down to the nitty gritty. So for example, we just have so many fields that are available to us. So this is what it looks like when we log in and we choose Arlington and we want to see the active listings. And let's say you don't want to be bothered with short sales or foreclosures, so we want standard sales and only single family homes. If we know that you want 3 or more bedrooms and at least 2 or more baths, these are all the standard fields. Well, then agents have the option, we can add these very detailed fields at the bottom. So let's say if we know you want a basement, then we know it needs to be at least 3 levels. So we can put that in. We can enter what type of cooling system. If you know that you really like radiator heat and you want radiator heat in your house, we can search that specifically for you. So let's just go back to our example here. We use main floor bedrooms, main floor baths a lot. If there's an elderly parent that visits, we might need a bedroom and a bathroom on the main floor. But the upper floor bedrooms, let's just say we need 3 bedrooms upstairs and we need 2 bathrooms upstairs, and we don't want to forget a price range. Let's say somewhere in Arlington and you want to make sure you spend less than $900,000. We can set up this search for you. When we run it, we can see that there are 8 homes in all of Arlington, some north, some south, so we can even narrow that down for you. If you know you want only only one of the North Arlington zip codes, for example. So we can set it up that specifically, and then the emails that you do get will be the exact criteria that you're looking for. So you won't get bombarded with listings. So it can be more efficient. Just know that you will be missing out on anything that doesn't meet that exact criteria. But the point is that it's available to you, and we are happy to set that up for you if you'd like. If you want to control your own searches, we again encourage you to use our search site. It's search.wethmangroup.com. Don't necessarily advise you to use Zillow or Trulia, but any other broker site is fine. Redfin, Long & Foster, Weichert, Remax, etc. Any of those are going to be fine for you. So we hope that helps, and we hope to be helping you with your search very soon. Thanks very much.